Pioneer fans, Pioneer men's varsity basketball is live and on the air. We are live here at the Pioneer Main Gym at Pioneer High School, where it is your Pioneer men's varsity basketball team taking on the Howell High School. It's the Howell Highlanders. Pioneer is 4-0 on the season so far. They have wins versus Northville, versus Salem, versus Temperance Bedford, versus Skyline. That was a big win at Skyline, 54-45. That gives Pioneer average points per game of 62 points per game. The opponent's 41.25. Howell is 2-2 on the season. They had a big win versus Walled Lake Northern. Then they lost to Williamston and Okemos. Then they finally beat Troy Athens, that in the KLAA OAA Challenge. So Howell is 2-2. They have a 44.25 points per game average. So Pioneer just about 17 points better there. We'll see how that turns out. And then points per game per the opponents is 46.75. Their Pioneers' opponents have 41.25. So on paper, Pioneers' defense looks maybe a little bit better. Pioneers' offense scoring more points, but you never know what happens in the actual game. And we are very lucky to have with us Coach Mike Ahrens. How you doing, Coach?
Great.
Pleasure to have you here. Did you get a chance to talk to the coaches before the game?
Well, I tried. I did not connect with Coach Marion, but I did connect with Howell's coach, Nick Simon, and he's got quite an impressive resume. He's been the head coach off and on a couple times for 12 years.
Wow, nice.
And I did a little history checking out their success. Remember, they lost in the Final Four in 2019 against Ypsi Lincoln, led by Imani Bates.
Indeed, that was a definitely exciting time that season.
And looking at their one-loss record, they've over the last 3 seasons plus the 4 games here, they've won about 65% of their games. They have several returning seniors and a couple underclassmen, and a couple players are out, have not joined the team yet because of football injuries.
Oh, sure.
So he said a couple players to keep an eye on is number 11, Hicks, a senior, who's rated the number 1 player in Livingston County in the preseason.
Oh, well, take a brief moment for the national anthem, and we will be right back here. Alrighty, as we were talking right before, and I think I knocked some of Coach's stuff over there.
Oh, no problem.
That's why I'm on the mic and not graceful enough to be anywhere on the court, but that's neither here nor there. So we would say Hicks was someone to keep an eye on for the team there.
He's rated the #1 player in Livingston County by their newspaper.
Wow.
And number 10, Weber, is averaging 12 points a game. He's also a senior. He thinks the two key factors for a win tonight would be rebounding and especially the defensive rebounding end. They're not a big team, and he knows this is a tough team he's playing tonight, and he knows he has to have 4 good quarters to be a threat.
So starting off is Hampton for Howell. Micah Powell starting for Pioneer. Should be a good matchup between these two teams.
Senior center, Curtis Dell.
Dell starting for Howell. Number 13 comes out.
Number 10, senior forward, Nate
Freisteller comes out for Pioneer. Obviously playing a team that is mainly green and yellow. That's very similar to the colors for Huron as they announce Weber coming out.
It's Tyler Mutinda.
Mutinda for Pioneer coming out starting.
For Howell, number 11, senior guard, Jalen Hicks.
Hicks, we're just talking about him. He's coming out. He's number 11.
Jordan Harrison.
Harrison, number 2 for Pioneer, comes out.
14, junior guard, Cooper Eckerly.
Eckerly comes out for
Senior guard,
Howell.
Nelson Sampa.
And Sampa for Pioneer starting.
Of Howell, Nick Simon, assisted by Ken Samples and Jeff Matthews.
So it's Pioneer is Coach Rich Marion. On the other side,
Jeremy Valentine.
it is Nick Simon with Ken Samples and Jeff Matthews as the assistants. As we're getting ready to go between these two squads, again, Pioneer 4-0, Howell 2-2, but it's very early in the season, so a lot to be figured out here. We appreciate you joining us on a Tuesday evening as Freisteller wins it back to Sampa. Sampa coming up the near side of the court, over half court, Sampa. Over onto the near wing to Freisteller. Freisteller gets over to Harrison. Harrison underneath. There's a shot from the free throw line by Powell. Wouldn't go. Rebound. Here comes Howell. Coming down the far side is Hicks. Hicks into the far corner. Stops there. Harrison watching him. That ball goes out of bounds. Pioneer ball. Scoreless so far. 7:38 left to go here in the first. Freisteller inbound. Baseline right. Sampa brings it ahead. So 2 empty possessions, one by both teams to start off. Sampa comes over onto the near wing. Sampa comes to the free throw line, steps back. Sampa moves over to Freisteller on the near wing, into the near corner. Harrison works his way around, gets it over to Sampa on the far sideline. Now Freisteller comes to the near elbow. Freisteller picks up his dribble, gets it to Powell. Powell over to Harrison on the near wing. Harrison works his way into the paint, puts it up off glass. That's going to be a travel. That'll go over to Howell. Scoreless so far, 7:11 left to go here in the first. Both teams feeling each other out. Bringing ahead is Hicks. Hicks brings it over half court. Sampa picks him up from there. Hicks moves it over onto the near wing for Weber. Weber gets in, puts it up off the glass, pulled down. That grab by Mutinda. Here comes Pioneer. Sampa coming down the far sideline. Sampa gets it over to Mutinda into the paint, puts it up off glass, wouldn't go, fell off the near rim. Coming the other direction, here comes Howell as bringing it ahead is Hampton. Now Hicks trying to come into the paint. Hicks steps back. That ball goes all the way back over. Hampton picks it up. Hampton right at the block. A's for Pioneer, comes over onto the near wing. Hampton moves it over to Weber. Weber gets it back to Hampton, top of the key. Hampton moves it over onto the far wing for Eckerly. Eckerly back to Hampton for 3. That off the back of the rim, but pulled down by Howell as they'll have it again. Stepping back, Hicks flips it over onto the near wing for Dell. That put up underneath. Wouldn't go, but a whistle. Weber Goes to the line as he was fouled in the act of shooting. That looks like that's going to be Sampa, who's going to pick up the foul. 6:11 left to go here in the first. Weber to the line, puts up the first shot. That off the back of the rim, wouldn't go. Still scoreless. One more coming for Weber, trying to get up on the board. Weber bends the knees, puts it up, puts it in. So Weber with his first point of the game. It's 1-0 Howell with the lead. Sampa brings it ahead for Pioneer. Sampa now flips that over to Mutinda. Mutinda over to Powell on the far wing, who comes top of the key. Sampa on the near wing, hands it off. Over to Freisteller in the near corner. Freisteller spinning with it, puts it up. That's blocked, picked up. Coming the other direction is Hampton. Now Hicks comes onto the near wing for Howell. Howell has the 1-0 lead. That knocked away as they're trying to get it underneath the Dell. Quickly Harrison with the steal, trying to get to Sampa. That's stolen the other way by Howell. Now coming in, Hicks puts it up, finger rolling in. Hicks has his first points of the game, and it's 3-0. Howell with the lead with 5:27 left to go. Powell has it on the far sideline for Pioneer. Harrison, top of the key for three. He hits it. Harrison with the three-pointer, and we're knotted up at 3 apiece. Howell quickly ahead. Over on the far wing, Eckerly with it. Gets it underneath into the paint. That's put up by Dell, who rattles it home. Dell with his first points of the game. He has 2. It is 5-3. Howell with the lead. Sampa top of the key. Sampa moves it over into the far corner for Powell. That over to Mutinda. Now pulled back. There's Powell for 3. He hits it off glass and in. Powell with 3, and it's now 6-5 Pioneer with a 1-point lead off of 2 3-point shots. Hicks over half court for Howell. Hicks comes top of the key. That tipped away. Here comes Powell with it. Powell gets it over to Sampa. Sampa up off the glass and in. Sampa with the finger roll off the high glass, and it's 8-5 Pioneer with the lead. Quickly down the far sideline into the far corner with it is Eckerly. Eckerly moves it to Hicks, top of the key. Now over on the near wing, Dell puts up a three-pointer. That rims off. That pulled down. Sampa gets the rebound, and here comes Pioneer the other direction with an 8-5 lead. Sampa top of the key. Over to Powell. Into the far corner for Freisteller. Freisteller gets it to Mutinda. Mutinda down the far side of the paint. Picks up the dribble. Mutinda skies it back over to Harrison. Harrison on the near wing for Sampa. Sampa moves it into the near corner. Pioneer with it there. Freisteller kicks it top of the key over to Mutinda. Now over to Powell on the far sideline. Powell on that far wing gets it over to Harrison. Harrison trying to come down the paint as he gets tripped up. That will be a foul, as that foul will be on Weber. That will be his first foul. 1 foul on each team. 3:46 left to go. Again, nice fast-paced game. Both teams trying to push the pace. Sampa, 3 feet inside of half court. Sampa moves it over to Freisteller. Freisteller on the near wing gets it top of the key to Powell. Powell over to Harrison on the near wing. Harrison working against Hicks, puts up a three-pointer. That off the back of the rim falls away. That picked up. Coming the other direction is Hampton. Hampton gets it over to Hicks. Hicks hands it off. Now that moved over to Hampton on the near wing for 3. That off the back of the rim pulled down by Sampa. Quickly the other direction. Sampa over half court. Sampa gets it to the free throw line. Sampa steps back. Sampa looks like he's getting a screen from Freisteller. Now comes on to the baseline. Gets it into the paint for Strauss. Strauss over to Powell on the far wing. Powell gets a screen from Strauss into the paint. Dishes it off. Freisteller puts it up and in. Freisteller with his first points of the game, and it's 10-5. Pioneer with the lead. Hicks has it top of the key. Hicks dishes it over to Dell for a three-pointer. That off the back of the rim, pulled down by Sampa. Sampa has to have about 3 rebounds already. Freisteller comes to the top of the key. Over to Harrison now on the near wing. Harrison to the free throw line, puts it up. That off the rim, pulled down. Hicks quickly the other direction with 2:30 left to go. Hicks on the near wing. Hicks puts it into the near corner. Grab by Eckerly. Eckerly moves it top of the key and over to Keogh. Now with it on the far wing, Dell. Dell over into the near corner. Trying to bring into the paint is Hampton. Hampton gets it over to Hicks. Hicks Dishes it off over to Eckerly. Eckerly hands it over to Hampton, top of the key. Now over to Dell. Dell, bounce pass into the paint. Back over to Eckerly. There's a three-pointer. Wouldn't go off the rim. And pulled down by Freisteller. Here comes Sampa quickly the other direction with 1:55 left to go. Into the near corner. Harrison with it. Harrison gets it top of the key for Freisteller. Looks like he thought about it. Now moves it over into the corner. That put up. Rims around. Rattles around and home for Powell. And there is a timeout as Powell with 5. Gosh, we get a chance to actually take a breath and ask Coach any thoughts so far on a quick, fast-paced game?
Yeah, I'm really impressed so far with Pioneer's defense. Both teams are into a man defense, and what Pioneer's doing to defend is cheating into the paint, and they constantly have ball pressure, which anywhere on the arc even. Mm-hmm. So that ball pressure, cheating into the paint's taken away a lot of scoring opportunities. Another thing Howell has to, I think, adjust to, maybe both teams. Long shot usually means a long rebound.
Indeed. Here comes Howell into the near corner. There's a three-pointer put up off the back of the rim but pulled down. The rebound wouldn't go. Freisteller with it, coming the other direction. 12-5 Pioneer with the lead. Freisteller into the near corner for Lyle. Lyle back to Freisteller. Now that tipped away, racing the other direction. That put up by Hicks. Off the rim, wouldn't go, but Powell picks up the foul. So I'm going to say he got a body, and that will be a shooting foul. That will. So Powell with his first foul. 2 on Pioneer, 1 on Howell. That puts Hicks to the line as he's going to try and make it a 5-point game. First shot is up by Hicks and good. Nothing but net on that one. Hicks with 3 points, trying to make it 4. It's 12-6. Hicks with an opportunity to make it a 5-point game.
Andrew Weber returns to the line for Howell, number 10.
Weber back into the lineup for Howell. Hicks with one more shot coming. Spins the ball, bends the knees, puts it up, and that rattles itself home. 4 points for Hicks. It's 12-7. Pioneer with the lead. Sampa over half court. Sampa comes top of the key, now moves it over to Strauss on the near wing. Strauss gets it over to Lyle, top of the key, pressure by Al. Lyle kicks it over into the near corner. Sampa for 3. That off the rim. Strauss trying to track down the rebound, but Howell has it. Coming the other direction. Here comes Hicks over half court for Howell. It's Pioneer 12, Howell 7. They dish it back over, top of the key for Hampton. Now Weber trying to get to it, down onto the ground. And hustle point by Dell gets it back over to Weber. Weber moves it over to Hampton off the top of the key. Now over to Hicks on the far wing. Trying to get it underneath to Weber on the baseline. Weber trying to get it to Dell. That knocked away by Strauss. Here comes Sampa. Over to Lyle. Lyle into the paint. And tipped away. That's going to be a charge. So Lyle will pick up the charge. That foul will be the third on Pioneer. And Howell will have the ball inbounded baseline left. It's got to be hard sometimes when you're racing down trying to make those fast break points to slow yourself down when you have a defender in front of you like that. 22 seconds left to go here in the first. They get it over to Hampton. Hampton bounce pass, top of the key to Dell. Dell moves over on his right-hand side trying to get it to Weber, and that is going to be a foul. They're going to say he pushed off. That is Pioneer's ball as 13.6 seconds left to go here in the first. 12-7 Pioneer with the 5-point lead. Strauss inbounds to Sampa. Sampa brings it ahead. Sampa over half court. 11 seconds left to go here in the first. Sampa gets a screen from Strauss. Steps back. Moves it over to Freisteller. Freisteller into the near corner for Lyle. Lyle, 3 seconds, 2 seconds left. As Freisteller gets the shot off and hits it. It's a 2-pointer for Freisteller, but big shot there, 4 points, and Pioneer has the 14-7 lead at the end of the first. Your thoughts on the first period there, first quarter?
I'm glad you brought up transition a minute ago. I wanted to talk about that. I think that's really an underrated part of the game, and you asked if that could be really challenging. And yes, they can, but I think well-coached teams are prepared for that.
Yeah.
There are a lot of drills to practice your transition game, not only from offense to defense, but defense to offense.
Sure, yeah.
And some teams with more depth can probably be more effective because when someone tires, you can get some fresh legs in.
Absolutely.
To fill in. But I think both teams in this first quarter, transition game was pretty good.
Absolutely. They seem to be pushing it quickly. Pioneer the early 7-point lead. We'll see if that continues thus far.
You said Sampa has 6 points?
Let me take a look. Sampa has 2. 6 points for, or 5 points for Powell. So I might have that wrong.
Oh, no, you're right. I'm sorry. It's Ann Arbor, 6 for 12.
Oh, 6 for 12 on the field goals. Yeah.
And
4 rebounds for Sampa. That's why, it seemed like he was getting a lot of rebounds from a guard position, which is impressive.
I think that goes back to some long rebounds, or long shots equals long rebounds.
Absolutely. Howell with it in the near corner. Hicks trying to dribble in. Hicks puts up the jump shot that pulled down and up and in. That's going to be Keogh who gets the points. And it is 14-9. Pioneer with the 5-point lead. Strauss hands it off to Lyle on the far wing. Bounce pass on the baseline. Mutinda trying to get up. Mutinda puts it up just a little too strong. Strauss trying to get that rebound. That gets tied up. That will be a jump ball. Pioneer gets the possession arrow favoring them. Sampa to inbound, baseline left. So Pioneer shooting 50% so far, not bad from the field. As that ball moved over on the far wing. Sampa with it there. Sampa calling out signals. Sampa now off the top of the key, moves over to Strauss on the near wing. Now Treat has it. Back over to Lyle, top of the key. Lyle spins with it, trying to get around Hicks. Moves it to Sampa. Now Strauss in the far corner. Strauss works his way around the arc. Back over to Treat. Treat picks it up, over to Sampa. Now in the near corner is Lyle. Lyle works his way around the arc into the paint. Lyle dishes off to Treat. Underneath, up and in. Treat has his first points of the game. And it is 16-9. Pioneer with the 7-point lead. Coming up the other direction, Hicks. Top of the key, moves it over onto the near wing as that is Keogh with it. Now coming in, Hampton into the paint, puts it up, puts it in. Hampton with his first points of the game, he has 2, and it's 16-11. 5-point lead by Pioneer. Strauss onto the near wing, over to Lyle in the near corner. Lyle gets it back, top of the key for Treat. Treat for 3, off the back of the rebound, trying to get to it. And that will be Howell ball. Mutinda picks up his foul. That'll be the first foul. 6:17 left to go here in the second. 16-11. Pioneer with the lead. Howell to inbound as Sorial gets it over to Hicks. Hicks over half court. Hicks working against Lyle. Hicks at the near elbow trying to get into the paint. That's going to be a double dribble. Pioneers ball. 6:06 left to go. Strauss to inbound, baseline right. Freisteller comes in. That gives Treat and Strauss a breather. Sampa out as well. So here comes Lyle. Lyle brings it ahead over half court. Lyle over onto the near wing. Lyle gets a screen from Mutinda. Comes to the free throw line. Over to Powell in the far corner. Back to Lyle on the far wing. Gets it to Harrison off the top of the key. Harrison screen from Mutinda goes into the paint. That put up and in. Harrison with 5 points. And it's Pioneer 18, Howell 11. Hicks brings it ahead. Hicks bounce pass over onto the far wing for Eckerly. Eckerly moves it onto the near wing for Keogh. Now back over to Eckerly. Eckerly moves it over onto the near wing. There's a shot by Eckerly. Would not go. Mutinda with the rebound. Over to Lyle. Lyle down the far sideline. Lyle over half court on that far wing for Pioneer. Lyle into the paint. Up with the left hand and in. Lyle with his first points of the game. He has 2. And at 5:10, it's 20-11. Pioneer with the lead. Hicks, top of the key. Hicks moves it over onto the far wing. Over to Sonerol. Now over on the near wing to Dell. Dell, bounce pass, top of the key. Back over to Hicks on the far wing. Hicks moves it over to Eckerly. Now underneath. That grab trying to make his way in is Dell. Dell puts it high up off the glass and in. Dell with 4 points, and it's 20-13. Pioneer with a 7-point lead. Freisteller moves it in along the far sideline for Powell. Powell gets it back over to Harrison. Now Freisteller on the near wing down the baseline into the post. That one just a little long. Hicks with the rebound, coming ahead with it. Pioneer with the 7-point lead into the near corner, trying to dish it off to Sonerall, and that just off his fingertips out of bounds. 4:26 left to go here in the second. Freisteller to inbound. Now Lyle brings it ahead. Pioneer over half court. Lyle trying to break some pressure into the paint, trying to bounce past it underneath. That grabbed, moved over. Lyle gets it back all the way over to Powell coming down the baseline from the far side. Puts it up and puts it in. It's a good 2-point play by Powell. He has 7 points, and now it's 22-13. Pioneer with the lead. Bringing ahead is Eckerly. Eckerly hands it off over to Hampton. Hampton on the far wing. Hampton gets it top of the key over to Sonerall. And on the near wing is Keogh. Keogh trying to dish it underneath to Hampton. Hampton has it poked from behind by Harrison. Now that pull back. Good defense by Harrison. Good rebound by Freisteller. Now Harrison on the near wing. Comes down into the baseline. Trying to dish it off to Mutinda, but that knocked away. Quickly the other direction. Hampton into the near corner. That put up by Keogh off the back of the rim. Mutinda with the rebound. Over to Freisteller. Freisteller to Lyle. Lyle down the near side. Bounce pass into the far corner. Harrison gets it to Freisteller. Up and in off the glass. Freisteller with 6 points. There's a timeout, as I believe Howell wants to talk it over with 3:18 left to go. Well, Pioneer continues to push the ball. They have a 11-point lead. What are they doing really well to get that pressure and keep on getting the ball down quickly?
Well, that goes back to that transition game, and important factor of any good offensive transition game is keeping your head up and seeing your 4 teammates at all times. Even when defensive pressure comes, sometimes players' head will drop to the floor to see the ball or get an angle where they can't see the full floor.
Sure.
But it's really important, especially for your guards and your point, to see the floor and know the players well enough where they may cut to, where they might flash in the paint, setting a pick on the baseline. And I think Howell's doing a good job defensively, but as time progresses, maybe the second and third pass, then the defense kind of breaks down, and then that's the scoring opportunity.
It's kind of like a quarterback, always keeping their eyes down the field so you can see that same thing with the guards. As soon as your eyes go to the floor, you can't get any help from anyone else.
Exactly.
Brilliant. I appreciate that. Over into the near corner, bounce pass into the paint. That put up and in. Dell now has 6 points, and it's down to a 24-15 lead by Pioneer. 9-point lead. Over to Sampa on the far side. Back over to Freisteller on the near wing. 2:54 left to go. Sampa on that far wing. Back over to Freisteller. Freisteller on to the back over to Sampa on the far corner. Back to Freisteller, top of the key. Now moving it over into near corner for Lyle. Lyle over to Sampa, down into the paint. Figaro up and in. Sampa with 4 points. As it's Pioneer 26 and Howell 15. Howell brings it ahead as Eckerly has it on the far wing. Passes it off, gets it top of the key over to Sonerall. Now on the near wing to Hampton. Hampton being watched by Lyle. Hampton gets it over to Sonerall, now over to Dell. Back underneath to Hampton. Hampton trying to get into the paint off the far side of the paint. Puts it up, whistle underneath. We'll see who that's on.
Good Pioneer defense right there. As soon as that ball came in the paint, 3 players immediately collapsed on the ball.
As Hampton to the line, trying to get it down to a single-digit lead for Pioneer. First shot is good by Hampton. He has 3, trying to make it 4. It's now a 10-point game, 26-16. Strauss in for Pioneer. So it's Sampa, Strauss, Mutinda, Lyle, and Freisteller. 1 more for Hampton. He puts it up and puts it in. Hampton with 4 points. Strauss inbounds. Sampa brings it up the far side. 26-17. 9-point lead by Pioneer. As Howell gets it back to single digits. Freisteller into the paint. Freisteller turns, spins, puts it up. Oh, just misses to the near side. Mutinda trying to save the ball. Battle for it underneath. As whistle. Both teams diving on the ground trying to get those hustle points. 1:59 left to go. 9-point lead by Pioneer. Hicks over half court. Sampa picks him up there. Hicks spins, top of the key. Bounce pass over on the near wing to Hampton. Hampton underneath the Hicks. Hicks just on the near side of the paint. Hicks gets it over to Dell. Now over on the far wing to Sonerol. Sonerol. Bounce pass to Hicks, top of the key. Hicks being working against Lyle. Bounce pass over to Hampton on the far wing. Hampton. Strauss right in his kitchen. Hampton dribbles to the right. Strauss, tight coverage. Now picked up, handing it off. That handoff over to Klask. Klask. Right at the blockades, moves it over to Dell. Dell all the way over into the far corner. Sonerol thought about it, now moves it over to Klask. On the near wing, Hampton with it. Hampton trying to get it underneath. Mutinda knocking it away, but a whistle and a foul. That is going to be his second. Mutinda picks up his second foul. 3 on Pioneer, none on Howell with 1 minute 12 seconds left to go.
I counted 9 passes on this possession so far for Howell. That's good defense, and that's good patience, too, for the offense.
Indeed. Absolutely. Waiting for that weakness, but hopefully Pioneer won't show. Three-pointer up and good for Hicks. As Hicks continues to be impressive. That makes it a 6-point game. Pioneer quickly Lyle into the front court. The ball in back to Sampa. Sampa about 5 feet off of top of the key. 53 seconds left to go. Freisteller on the far wing. Freisteller gets it over to Lyle. Lyle over to Sampa on the near wing. Sampa. Screen set up by Strauss. Sampa uses it, gets to the free throw line, moves it over to Freisteller. Freisteller for 3. That off the rim, pulled down by Hampton. Here comes Howell the other direction. 6-point game, 26-20. Hicks, bounce pass over on the far sideline. That over to Eckerly. Eckerly gets it to Hampton, top of the key. Hampton trying to get it underneath, dribbled it. That went off of Lyle, but Hampton spinning, puts it in. Good shot in the paint by Hampton. Good post move. It's now a 4-point game. Freisteller on the far sideline. Gets it over to Treat. Treat steps back just inside of half court. Floats it over to Sampa on the near sideline. 7 seconds left to go before halftime. Sampa on the far elbow. Puts it up and in off glass. Sampa with 6 points, and that will do it for the first half as 28 for Pioneer, 22 for Howell. Your top point getters for Pioneer: Powell has 7, Harrison has 5, Freisteller with 6, Sampa with 6, Lyle with 2, and Treat with 2 on the other side. It's 7 points for Hicks, 6 points for Dell, 6 points for Hampton, 2 points for Keogh, and 1 point for Weber. Any thoughts on that first half there, Coach?
Yeah, I want to go back to that transition topic. Again, I think both teams are doing very well. They're in attack mode, but if something's not available, then they're patient, just like we saw down there.
Indeed.
We were at 9 passes. I think it was on the 10th pass they did score. So that shows 2 things: a good team defense, and when I say that, I mean when you're a defender, and we've talked about this before, you always got to see the ball no matter where it is.
Yeah.
The second responsibility is your man. And that's very difficult to do when you have teams making skip passes like we've seen, or a quick pass or a bounce entry pass. The defender has to keep an eye on that ball. And if you lose vision for a second, don't panic. You recover, get your eye back on the ball and the man you're responsible for. I'm enjoying watching this battle in the post down here at the offensive end for Pioneer. Mutinda, who's 6'5", going against Dell, who's 6'3", and it's getting physical. No rules are broken. They're both playing aggressive. They're both strong players.
Indeed.
And being a big man coach, love seeing a hook shot.
Absolutely.
Dell shoot that hook shot off the window, you know.
Definitely. In order to play really tight defense, like you see a lot of Pioneer defense, do you have to have a lot of faith in your teammates that if the player does get past you, someone can pick it up? Because there's a difference between playing really tight or playing off and making sure you don't lose that defender.
Right.
How do you make that decision?
Man, That's a very good question because this game is so fast. Think about it. There's 10 people. It's a small area.
Yeah,
It's a very small area, and the games move so fast. So you have to read and react and adjust all the time. And when a teammate misses an assignment, I just had one simple rule. If there's someone open, the closest man goes to get them.
Sure.
I don't care about size matchup. I don't care about speed or quickness. You get that man. We'll recover and get back to who we have later.
Sure.
But never leave anyone open. And that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you got 5 good guys out there, you can do that.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Shall we do the you make the call?
Sure. We didn't get a chance to.
Officials. We
Yeah,
definitely want to let the folks know about the officials. We can't have a game without them.
Yeah. Again, we got some veterans here. We have Jeremy Valentine, who said this is his 22nd season.
Wow.
Chris Dury has 23, and Neil Howell is back. We've had him last week. He's a 12-year veteran.
Fantastic. Lots of good experience. Of course, we'd love to see new officials come in because we love to see new blood because we have to have those officials. Otherwise, we can't have the games we love.
That's correct. Here's you make the call. Here's a scenario tonight. All the following are true when the behavior of spectators interrupts play except one. Except which one of these is not true, A, B, C, or D?
Okay.
A, game administration is primarily responsible for the behavior of spectators.
Gotcha.
B, a technical foul may be charged to the offending team.
Okay.
C, the official shall have knowledge of as to team's followers caused the problem. Which team's followers caused the problem?
Gotcha.
D, the technical foul is charged to the team's head coach. So one of those is not true.
Perfect. Excellent. Alrighty. Well, we'll let folks think about that for just a moment. Let me go through a quick scoreboard report here, and then if there are any stats you want to share, but let me do a quick scoreboard report. Taking a look at this last week in SEC Red action, it was Huron taking on Dexter back on the 12th. Huron beat them 74-39. Pioneer, of course, we know beat Temperance Bedford 70-40. It was Ypsilanti Lincoln beating Monroe 63-56, and Saline beat Skyline 64-54. Back on the 14th, it was Pioneer beating Skyline 54-45, and it was Ypsilanti Lincoln squeaking out a win over Dexter 59-57. On the 15th, it was Saline beating Monroe 64-37, and Huron beating Temperance Bedford 62-51. And then Huron took on Detroit Edison and beat them 62-38. That was on the 16th. And Ypsilanti Lincoln beat Wayne Memorial, good team there, 56-47. So that is our scoreboard report for the SEC. And any particular stats you want to share for us that you saw in that first half?
Yeah, I got some quickie stats here, toe-to-toe for the teams. Pioneer is out-rebounding Howell 13-8 in the first half. Howell is 5 for 7 at the line.
Wow.
And Pioneer has not got to the line yet.
Yep.
Do not have the total turnovers, but I would think Howell's would be a little higher. In the paint, I mentioned those two bigs. They're even. The teams have both scored 14 in the paint.
Fantastic.
Which is exactly half of Pioneer's points. The bench points, Pioneer's got 4 out of non-starters, and Howell has 2. Pioneer has a total of 6 points from threes, and Howell has 3 from threes.
Fantastic.
Field goals, Pioneer is shooting 13 of 24 and 2 for 6 from the arc. And as I mentioned, I don't believe they've got to the line yet.
So just a touch over 50% from the field and 33% from the three-point line. So good shooting, especially with good defense by both of these teams.
Yeah, good point. Very good point.
So
Numbers don't lie.
Indeed, absolutely. You can debate whether the ball lies, and we can leave that to Rasheed Wallace, but the numbers indeed don't lie. We'll step away for a quick message from the MHSAA, then we will be right back with the You Make the Call.
7 points, no fouls. Howell, 13, 6 points, no fouls.
Have we gotten to the point where at some high school game that an official has finally had enough from coaches, players, and adults, pulls off the whistle, and offers it to you? Let's hope not. There's no way you could do a better job. It's on everyone to promote good sportsmanship. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Here are 5 more good reasons for multi-sport participation. Multi-sport athletes are more coachable. They have higher athletic ceilings. They become better talent in the long run. They have higher sports IQs. Their sport skills transfer, and they are better teammates. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
All righty, let's get back to the You Make the Call, and if you want to read it one more time, Coach.
Sure. Here's a scenario. All the following are true when the behavior of spectators interrupts play, except which? And we have 4. A, game administration is primarily responsible for the behavior of spectators. In general, that would mean the athletic director.
Indeed.
B, a technical foul may be charged to the offending team. C, the official shall have knowledge of as to which the team's foulers caused the problem. D, the technical foul is charged to the team's head coach.
Really, really good question. Hopefully not something we have to deal with often. Seeing as I'm pretty sure A is true that that the athletic director or whomever is in charge is responsible for the behavior of the spectators. I'm going to say that everything is true except for a technical foul charged to the team's head coach. Everything else would be true, I believe. So that would be D. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Hey, what do you know?
You're off to a good start this season.
Indeed, I am. I'm going to mess that up soon, but that's neither here nor there.
You cannot charge the head coach with a technical, but A, B, C are all true.
And which makes sense if it's the athletic director can't charge the head coach. As that ball inbounded with it into the near corner and thrown back. Hampton has it over onto the far wing over to Eckerly. Pioneer with the 28-22 point lead here. As Hicks trying to get it underneath. There's a foul underneath. Looks like that one's going to go on Weber. We'll double check. As it was a battle underneath. Well, the officials, that hands to the face is what was called. I haven't heard a number yet. As Coach Simon having his say. I believe underneath that one probably would have been on Weber, but I'm not going to. Well, my stats aren't official, so it doesn't matter anyway. Although the people at the scorers table probably need to know, so that would be important. All right. Sampa brings it ahead. Sampa goes over half court. It is indeed Weber. Over to Mutinda. Mutinda, top of the key. Over onto the near wing for Powell. Powell back, top of the key for Harrison. Harrison dribbles to his right, trying to get down into the paint now. Over into the near corner for Powell. Underneath to Mutinda. Mutinda spins, puts it up and in. No basket. That is going to be a foul on Mutinda. So battle underneath. 2 fouls called on the offensive team on consecutive possessions. And it tells you how How either team is not giving up anything in the paint and battling hard. Mutinda comes out. I believe that is his third foul. Now coming ahead, here comes Hicks. Hicks over half court. Sampa picks him up there. Hicks bounce pass over onto the far wing to Hampton. Hampton moves it over to Lepek. Underneath to Hampton. Hampton trying to spin, puts it up and puts it in. Hampton now has 8 points, and it's 28-24. 4-point lead for Pioneer. Harrison has it on the far wing. Harrison gets it over to Powell. Powell back over to Harrison on the far sideline. Harrison comes top of the key. There's a whistle and a charge. Powell picks up off-ball foul there. That is his third. Treat comes in, giving Fowl a breather. Coach Marion has his say over on the far side. 6:50 left to go here in the third. 4-point lead by Pioneer. Howell. Bounce pass over on the near wing over to Eckerly. There's a whistle. Foul there. Strauss. That's going to be Strauss's first. Now Hicks has it into the near corner. That comes over to Lepek. Now over to Hampton on the far sideline. Hampton, top of the key, getting it over to Lepek. That goes right, hits off of our table, out of bounds. 6:29 left to go here in the third. 4-point lead by Pioneer, 28-24. Dell inbound right in front of us. Dell puts it in the backcourt, racing over Hicks. Gets it before it goes out the baseline right. Hicks bringing it ahead. Hicks over half court for Howell. Hicks dribbles to his right. Hicks passes it off over to Eckerly. Eckerly over into on the near wing to Hampton. Hampton gets it top of the key back over to Eckerly. Eckerly moves it over on the far wing to Lepek. Now on the near wing, trying to work his way in. Hicks puts it up off the glass. Falls off the front of the rim. Freisteller with the rebound. Here comes Sampa over half court. Gets it back to Freisteller. Harrison on the far wing. Harrison over to Treat, top of the key. Treat over to Freisteller on the near wing. Hands it off to Sampa. Sampa comes top of the key. Sampa working against Lepek. That put up off the back of the rim. Tracked down by Treat. Trying to get it over to Freisteller on the baseline. Freisteller back over to Harrison on the far wing. Harrison dribbles, now moves it over to Sampa on the near wing. 5:36 left to go here in the third. Freisteller has it on the far wing. Freisteller gets a screen from Strauss. Over on the near wing to Sampa, into the near corner to Treat. Treat back to Sampa, now over to Harrison on the far wing. Harrison over to Freisteller in the far corner. Freisteller down the baseline, puts it up off the glass. Wouldn't go, but a whistle underneath. That is going to be a foul.
Foul is on Curtis Dell. That's his first.
So Dell picks up his first foul. 3 on Pioneer, 2 on Howell. First shot is up and good by Freisteller. He has 7 points, trying to make it 8. Pioneer now with a 5-point lead. Second shot by Freisteller. Nothing but net on that one. 8 points for Freisteller, and it's 30-24. Pioneer with the lead. Howell has it on the far side. Lepek gets it top of the key over to Hampton. Hampton back over to Lepek. Lepek moves it over to Hicks, top of the key. Now handing it off over to Hampton. Hampton bounce pass over to Hicks on the near wing. Hicks watched by Sampa, dribbles to his left, trying to get to the paint. Hicks throws it all the way over to Hampton. Hampton for a long three off the rim, hold down by Harrison. 4:47 left to go here in the third. 30-24. Pioneer with the lead. On the near wing, into the near corner. Treat gets it top of the key over to Sampa on the far wing. Sampa dribbles to his right, steps back. Sampa over to Harrison on the far sideline. Back to Freisteller, top of the key. Freisteller dribbles to his left. Now picks up the dribble, moves it over to Sampa on the near wing. Sampa dribbles to his left. Sampa to the free throw line. Now trying to work his way. Bounce pass underneath Strauss. There's a foul. That one is going to be on Lepek. That is his first foul.
That was a nice entry pass, a good catch, and he was going up strong and got hammered.
And if you're going to commit the foul, make sure he doesn't make the basket, right? First shot is off the front of the rim.
Number 33, Roman Williams.
Otherwise, beautiful passing. Yeah, Strauss would have had an easy bucket there. So he's trying to split the pair at the line, trying to get to a 7-point lead. Second shot up by Strauss is good. Strauss's first point of the game, 31-24. Pioneer with the lead. Hampton over half court as Harrison watching him, tips it away. Hampton trying to come down into the paint, stripped, but a foul. That looks like it's going to be on Harrison. That is his first foul. Fourth foul on Pioneer this period. One more, and Howell will be shooting. There's a shot. That one falls short, but picked up by Hampton. Hampton can't make it go. Harrison on the near wing for Pioneer. Over to Freisteller into the paint. Freisteller off the glass. Wouldn't go. Strauss with the rebound up. Still wouldn't go. Tough luck miss there. Freisteller trying to go up, and he draws the foul.
Well, there's a good example. Second, third effort. They kept the ball high. They didn't bring it down. They had both hands on the ball. They tried to use the window, and it's going to end up in some points here, I think.
Indeed. Freisteller, first shot is up and off the front of the rim, falls off to the near side.
Andrew Weber, number 10, returns for the Highlanders.
Freisteller with his second shot from the line, up and good. 9 points for Freisteller, 32-24. Pioneer with the 8-point lead. As Hicks has it for Howell over onto the near wing, gets it to Weber. Weber over, top of the key, over to Hampton. Hampton over to Hicks. There's a three-pointer by Weber, wouldn't go. Hampton with the rebound, dishes it back out to Weber, top of the key. Over to Dell on the near wing. Dell now gets it over to Weber, now over on the far wing. That grab by Williams. Williams over to Dell, back over to Hampton on the near wing. Hampton watched by Freisteller. Back to Dell, top of the key. Now over to Hicks on the far sideline. Harrison watching him. Hicks looking in, arcs it back, top of the key, over. Grab by Dell. Dell spinning with it, over to Williams. Now that picked up by Weber. Dell for three, straight on. Hit the front of the rim, wouldn't go. Whistle underneath. That one looks like it's going to be on Harrison as well.
Nelson Sampa picks up his second.
No, that's going to be Sampa with his second foul. That is the fifth for Pioneer. So that results in shots as Williams will go to the line. He'll be shooting two. First shot by Williams is up off the back of the rim. Would not go. Lyle comes in replacing Harrison, giving Harrison a breather. One more shot coming for Williams. 3:02 left to go here in the third. Williams puts it up, and Williams puts it in. That's his first point. It's 32-25. Pioneer with the 7-point lead. Sampa on the far sideline over to Lyle. Lyle gets it back from Freisteller on the near wing. Bounce pass, trying to get it into Strauss. That knocked away. Good job by Williams coming the other direction. Here comes Howell. As they have it over, Hicks floats it up, floats it in. Hicks now has 9, and it is 32-27, 5-point lead. Strauss gets it over to Treat on the near wing. Treat, top of the key, over to Lyle. Lyle looks to his left, now dribbles to his left. Lyle over to Strauss. Strauss on the far sideline, hands it off to Sampa. Sampa comes just inside the top of the key. Shot wouldn't go. Strauss with the rebound. Rattles it home. Strauss has 3 points now. Those two really big. Quickly ahead to Williams. That one goes over the basket. Lyle with it quickly the other direction. 34-27. Pioneer with the lead. Treat on the near wing. Gets it over to Sampa. Sampa just off the top of the key over to the near side. Now Sampa gets it over on the near wing to Treat. Treat back to Sampa. Sampa working against Dell. Sampa over to Lyle now on the far sideline. Freisteller with it. Freisteller working against Hampton. Comes down the baseline. Freisteller back to Sampa, top of the key. Over to Lyle on the near wing. Lyle comes top of the key, moves over to Sampa on the far sideline. Sampa over to Freisteller in the far corner, all the way over to Lyle in the near corner. Lyle trying to make his way into the paint underneath the Strauss. That will turn into, I believe, a jump ball, and it is. as Howell has really sniffed out that entry pass to Strauss now, and they're really trying to defend that well as they're rotating someone over to try and take away that entry pass now.
They're collapsing to the ball, which is very good. You're going to have to leave someone open, but it'll end up in a turnover often.
Sampa gets it into the near corner. Treat over to Strauss. Strauss just off top of the key, over to Lyle on the far wing. Now Sampa on the far sideline. Treat top of the key down the far side of the paint. Puts up a floater, wouldn't go. Sampa with the rebound. Over to Strauss on the near wing. Strauss back over to Treat on the far sideline. Treat gets it to Lyle. Lyle. Bounce pass, top of the key, over to Freisteller. Freisteller hands it off to Treat. Treat over to Strauss. Strauss comes to the near elbow, then the far elbow. Back over to Freisteller. Freisteller. Bounce pass on the baseline to Lyle. Wouldn't go. Freisteller with the rebound. That wouldn't go. Trying to get it underneath. Dell with the rebound. 50 seconds left to go. Bringing it ahead. Here comes Howell. That taken away by Sampa. Sampa quickly underneath. That floated up by Lyle and in. Lyle off the high glass puts it in. 36-27. 9-point lead by Pioneer. Howell brings it ahead as Eckerly has it over to Hampton on the near wing. Hampton trying to come down the baseline, puts up the shot. That off the rim, all white jerseys underneath. Strauss moves it over to Sampa. Back to Strauss. Strauss flips it over on the far wing for Lyle. Lyle steps back on the far sideline. 13 seconds left to go here in the third. Pioneer by 9. Now to the free throw line. Lyle with it. Lyle gets it back, puts up a three-pointer. That one short, pulled down. 1 second left. Hampton with a long full-court shot. Wouldn't go. And at the end of 3, it is Pioneer 36 and Howell 27. What are your impressions of that quarter there?
The defensive battle continues.
Absolutely.
And it's being fought in the paint, and that's where a lot of games are won and lost. It's good to see both teams are really defending. We call it our living room.
Yeah.
You want to keep the ball out of there, and when the ball is in there, when the team collapses, it can be tough to get something. So I think going into the fourth quarter, let's see, 36-27, Pioneer's going to put a priority on taking care of the ball, keeping turnovers to a minimum. And Howell has to just chip away here. They don't have to come out with a bunch of points, just chip away and whittle that down. Looking at some quick stats, Pioneer was 2 of 10 from the floor, so that hurt in the third quarter.
Indeed.
Howell shot a little better, 2 for 8 for 25% in the third quarter.
Good defense. Pioneer has been averaging 62 points a game. They have 36 going into the fourth. Howell has been averaging 44 points a game. They have 27 going into the fourth. So both teams a little under their average. Weber has it on the far wing for Howell. Weber gets it into the far corner. Now back over to Hicks. Hicks into the paint. Puts it up with the hand and puts it in. Hicks now has 11 points to lead everyone from Howell and to lead all scores. Freisteller gets it over to Lyle as it's a 7-point game. Lyle bounce pass over to Freisteller on the far wing. 7:30 left to go. Now Lyle on the near wing. Lyle. Top of the key, bounce pass over to Freisteller. Freisteller over to Harrison in the far corner. Back to Freisteller on the far sideline. Back to Harrison trying to come down the baseline. Tried to move it over to Mutinda. That out of bounds. And looking to see. That's going to be Pioneer's ball as Lyle inbound baseline right. Just to the far side of his own basket. Lyle looks, gets it over to Harrison. Harrison makes his way into the paint, puts it up with the right hand, off glass and in. The basket will count. He has 7. So Weber picks up the foul. That is going to be his second, I believe. But that will put Harrison to the line, shooting 1, trying to make it an old-fashioned 3-point play. Harrison dribbles the ball, spins it, dribbles again, eyes the rim, puts it up, puts it in. Harrison with 8 points. That is 1 off of the lead for Pioneer as Freisteller has 9. Top of the key, Hampton has it. Hampton moves it over to Hicks. Hicks for three. Hicks, that rims out. Mutinda pulls it down. Mutinda over to Harrison. Harrison over to Lyle. Lyle slows things up now, gets it underneath the Freisteller. Freisteller right underneath the basket, puts it up as basket wouldn't go, but he takes the foul. That will be the second on Howell. That'll put Freisteller to the line.
These free throws are very important coming down the stretch here.
Indeed, absolutely. I think Howell was shooting free throws pretty well in the first half. Pioneer hadn't hit any. It kind of feels like Pioneer's about 50% from the line in this second half. And Howell's had some struggles from there as well. So timeout called with 6:54 left to go. If you're in that huddle with Pioneer, what are you telling them to do to make sure they hold on to this 10-point lead?
Again, take care of the ball.
Yep.
and be patient on offense.
Absolutely.
Back to the transition. Howell's going to be turning it up. They're going to be running, and we got to get back on defense.
Yes.
Get back and defend the paint.
Indeed. Freisteller to the line. 6:54 left to go. First shot by Freisteller up, and that rolls around and in. Freisteller with a team-high 10 points. Second shot by Freisteller is up. That one is off the front of the rim, pulled down by Howell. 40-29, Pioneer with 11-point lead with 6:50 left to go. Hicks moves it over to Eckerly. Eckerly over into the near corner, trying to work his way in as Weber. Weber bounce pass over to Hampton. Hampton gets it back over to Eckerly. Now into the near corner, trying to make his way in as Hampton. That knocked away by Powell. Coming up the other direction, here comes Pioneer over half court. Powell trying to get it underneath to Mutinda. That tipped away. Here comes Hampton the other direction. Lyle got back, trying to get in the way. Good defense. That knocked out of bounds. That'll be Pioneer's ball. And again, like you were saying, get back on defense. Lyle did a great job to slow that rush up. 6:25 left to go here in the fourth. 40-29. Pioneer with the lead. Lyle brings it over half court for Pioneer. Lyle over to Freisteller on the far sideline. Freisteller gets it back to Mutinda, top of the key. Now over on the near wing to Powell. Powell gets it back, top of the key to Harrison. Harrison trying to dish it off to Lyle. Lyle underneath, puts it up and in. Lyle with a good, puts him at 6 points, just under 6 minutes left to go. Pioneer 42 and Howell 29, whistle. That is going to be a foul on Lyle. That is his second foul. One foul on Pioneer, 3 on Howell this quarter. Eckerly to inbound. Eckerly gets it high over to Dell. Dell in the paint. Dell working against Mutinda. Dell puts it back. That off the rim, pulled down by Harrison. Coming the other direction. Here comes Harrison. Over to Lyle on the far sideline. Lyle down on the baseline. Mutinda spins with it. That off the rim, pulled down. Coming the other direction. Here comes Hicks. Hicks over on the far side. Over to Weber. Now back to Hampton on the far wing. Weber trying to come down the far baseline. Weber. Now Lyle watching him. Kicks it into the near corner. There's a three-pointer. Off the rim. Pulled down. Harrison takes a off-ball foul. 5:23 left to go. That is 2 fouls on Pioneer, 3 on Howell. Bounce pass, gets it over to Eckerly. Stolen away by Freisteller. Freisteller coming down. Eckerly right in his hip pocket. Freisteller puts it up, and there's a whistle. Basket off the glass and off the rim, fell down to the near side. Howell was right there for the rebound, but a foul called. Eckerly picks up his first foul. That is the 4th on Howell. One more, and Pioneer will be shooting the rest of the way. Freisteller, first shot is up and off the front of the rim. Freisteller puts it up, puts it in. Freisteller splits the pair. He has 11 points. That makes it 43-29. Quickly, Hicks over to Dell. Dell for 3. Dell rattles it home for 3. Big three-pointer. That gives Dell 9 points and gets it to an 11-point game. Freisteller over to Harrison on the far sideline. Harrison Gets it over to Powell. That batted away by Hampton. Hampton coming back. Hampton puts it up and in, and the foul.
Basket is good. Daniel Hampton will be shooting. Foul is on Powell.
Powell picks up a foul. Hampton at the line, 4:52 left to go. That is the third foul on Pioneer in this quarter. Hampton puts it up, puts it in. And it's 11 points for Hampton. Pioneer brings it ahead. Sampa down the far sideline over half court. Sampa over into near corner for Harrison. Harrison dribbles to his left, over to Lyle. Lyle comes top of the key, over to Sampa on the far sideline. Sampa works his way to the top of the key. Sampa over to Lyle. Lyle for three. That one off to the left-hand side. And out of bounds. 4:32 left to go here in the fourth. 8-point lead by Pioneer. Howell has got it back to single digits. Here comes Hicks down the far sideline. Hicks brings it over half court with 4:25 left to go. Hicks moves it over top of the key, dribbles to his right, kicks it back over to Dell. Now over onto near wing Deckerly. Now Weber gets it over into the far corner for Dell. Dell working against Mutinda. Back over on the near wing to Hicks. Hicks looking to get it underneath to Weber. Weber puts it up and in. Weber has 3 points, and that makes it a 6-point game. Coach Marion wants to talk things over.
Well, that was a nice cut by Weber. The lane was open, one of the few times it has been all night, and a nice entry pass. Good catch. He finished for two, and the momentum has changed.
Indeed, it has. What has Howell done on defense has kind of stymied Pioneer the last couple drives there, or last couple possessions. Wrong sport there, Mark.
Well, I think Howell, offensively and defensively,
Yeah.
have turned it up like a notch.
Indeed.
And they know the score, they know the time, and this is a time to make the move, and they got to continue. They don't want this timeout to slow them down.
Absolutely, it does seem like they're jumping at the passes more. They're definitely a little bit more active in the passing lanes, and
They're playing more aggressive.
they are. They absolutely are. Pioneer will have to match that intensity the next 4 minutes and 3 seconds as it's down to a 6-point lead. Coach Marion talking it over, trying to stop that Howell momentum.
Our statistician tonight, Andy, just sent me over thus far in the game. Turnovers are about the same. Pioneer has a total of 11, and Howell has 10.
As Howell comes back out onto the court, 4:03 left to go here in the fourth. 43-37, Pioneer with the 6-point lead. Freisteller into Sampa. Sampa over half court. Sampa taking his time. Sampa on the far sideline. Hicks comes out to meet him there. Sampa gets it to Mutinda, top of the key. Now over to Powell. Powell over to Freisteller, back to Sampa on the far sideline. Sampa right in front of his bench now. Dribbles to his left with the screen from Mutinda. Sampa over to Freisteller on the near wing, over to Lyle. Lyle, a screen from Freisteller, top of the key, moves it back over to Sampa. 3:35 left to go. Coach Marion calling out signals. Now Lyle over into the near corner for Freisteller. Freisteller works his way back. Sampa thought about it. Now kicks it over on the near wing. Freisteller into Mutinda. Mutinda gets it up, puts it up, falls off the rim, gets the rebound. That won't go. Two good shots by Mutinda. Neither of them would get any shooter's rolls for him. Hicks gets it over. Now trying to make his way in. Hampton puts it up, puts it in. Hampton now has 13 points. He leads all scorers as he has turned up the action, and there's a timeout call.
Well, Hampton just split two defenders there. The defenders were in the paint. Hampton came in strong with the dribble, and neither defender picked him up, so he slipped in between and got the 12-foot jumper.
Indeed, 4-point game here as Pioneer taking a lot of time, being patient, but two tough luck misses underneath, just really good shots, but just wouldn't go down. And a couple split pairs from the free throw line, and Pioneer's looking at a tight last 3 minutes and 6 seconds.
Well, so far in the fourth quarter, I got Pioneer for 3 out of 5 at the line.
3 out of 5, so that's a little better than I thought it was, yeah. Not too bad. It's a touch over 50%.
But remember, high school goal, I think, as a team is 70%. I think that's a good, reasonable goal for any high school team.
That is fair. That is absolutely fair. I did not play a lot of basketball organized, but what I do remember is being yelled at to make my free throws. So it's one thing I could do, and that's about it.
Well, you know why, Mark?
Yeah.
They're free.
There you go. Absolutely. Absolutely. Sampa brings it ahead. Coming up. Sampa over half court. Sampa comes on down the far side. Bounce pass underneath. Mutinda up. That a little too strong. Freisteller gets it back to Lyle. Bounce pass underneath to Mutinda. Up and in. Mutinda with his first points of the game, working hard underneath, and with the interception, Mutinda gets it over to Powell. Powell brings it ahead. Powell has it on the near wing. Powell, they're letting him play a little bit over into the far corner. Sampa with it. Strauss looking to check in at the next whistle. Sampa comes down, trying to get into the paint. Sampa rebuff, gets it over to Lyle in the far corner. Lyle skies it over to Sampa. Sampa comes top of the key with 2:15 left to go. Freisteller here on the near wing. Freisteller has it poked away from behind. That's going to be a foul on Eckerly. That will be Eckerly's second. That they must have changed it. I thought there were 4 fouls up there earlier, but now there are 4 fouls. So next foul would put Pioneer shooting. Now Sampa brings it head over half court. Hicks to his left. Skied over to Lyle. 2:07 left to go. The ball into the far corner by Freisteller. As over to Sampa on the near sideline. Sampa gets it into the near corner for Powell. Powell trying to make sure he doesn't get caught there. Back to Sampa. Trying to get it underneath to Strauss. And just a hair off on the timing. That goes out of bounds. 1:54 left to go. It's a 6-point game. Hampton to inbound. Now here comes Hicks. Hicks brings it over half court. Hampton leads all scorers. Pioneer will have to watch him. Weber has it, gets it over to Hampton. Hampton just on the far side of the paint. He's double teamed. Bounce pass underneath the Dell. Dell kicks it back, and that will go right off of our table. And that will be out of bounds. Pioneer ball. Frustration, as Howell thought they got a good steal there. Good hustle by Pioneer. Lyle making sure that that went out. Strauss underneath the Powell. Powell up. That would not go. Pulled down just off the rim to the near side. Coming the other direction as here comes Weber. Weber into the far corner. 1:25 left to go. Hampton, top of the key. He's hit a couple threes as well. Gets it over to Weber. Weber on the far wing. Weber over to Hicks. Hicks gets it to Hampton on the near wing. Being watched by Powell. That underneath, and I think that is going to be an offensive foul. Weber picks up the foul. That should be 5 fouls. Timeout called. Now any other fouls, Pioneer will be shooting free throws on that.
This is where that new rule comes into effect, that it's much more important to make those free throws instead of the bonus 1-on-1. Guaranteed 2 shots now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It feels like people so far have enjoyed it. I know seems to make some of the games go by a little quicker because you don't have as many 1-and-1s. It's certainly easy if you have a bad quarter in fouls to be able to reset at the end of the quarter and get back. So still hard for me not to think of the 7 and 10, but that's just because of the amount of basketball I've watched.
Yeah.
It's neither here nor there, and I'm sure it's even harder for you.
Yeah.
Freisteller inbounds. 1 minute, 10 seconds left to go. Pioneer up by 6. Quickly ahead to Powell. Powell, as Howell is going to look to either make a turnover. They get one over. Hicks up the paint. That off. Wouldn't go, but Dell, was that Dell? I think that was Dell who put it in.
Dell scored.
53 seconds left to go. Full court pressure by Howell. Pioneer trying to break it. Strauss on the far sideline. Strauss double team there. Gets it underneath the Powell. But a timeout called. 45.3 seconds left to go. Howell has really ratcheted up the full court press and the pressure.
30-second timeout.
As Pioneer's going to have to watch getting stuck in the corners. They're going to have to keep that ball moving because Howell is trying to double and triple team as quickly as they can.
What I like to do in this situation is spread out my offense. And when you do that, you spread out the defense.
Sure.
And just be patient. I pass and cut. You got to keep moving. You don't want to stand. You're too easy to defend when you're standing.
Sure.
You want to keep motion going, keeping your head up, and take the scoring opportunities in the paint for sure.
Everyone turns into Rip Hamilton, constant motion there, and
Reggie Miller.
Yeah, they're Reggie Miller. Yep. Just get tired watching those guys just constantly move. All the way back, Sampa brings it ahead. Full court pressure back there. Moved ahead to Lyle. Lyle gets it to Freisteller on the far sideline. Freisteller trying to make his way. Gets it all the way over to Powell. That knocked away. 33 seconds left to go. Hicks bringing ahead. 4-point game over. Hicks puts it up. That too far. Pulled down by Hampton. Hampton into the near corner. That back to Hampton for three. And he hits it. Hampton now has 16 points. It is a 1-point game with 18.9 seconds left to go. This Howell team has continued to try and battle. They now are tied with their average. They average 44.25 points a game. They have 44, so they are right about 2.25 points off of that.
Well, here's an interesting stat from Andy. All but 4 points in this half for both teams have been scored in the paint.
Wow.
That's what we were talking about.
That's
earlier.
Huge. Yeah, get it underneath.
This is a war in the paint tonight.
Absolutely. Big battle in the paint, except for that three-pointer by Hampton. Makes it tough there, but that's okay. Well, Pioneer has the ball, but first they're going to have to get it past that press. It's a 1-point game. You can't just hang on to it here.
We don't know the timeout situation, do we?
I don't know. I think John, the public address announcer, has mentioned it, and I've been talking the whole time, which happens. So, any fouls, Pioneer shooting baskets, though, as it's 5 fouls on Howell. Now, at this point, if you are Coach Simon, do you call for the foul if you can't steal the inbound pass, or do you just play defense here?
Yeah, that's what Andy just brought to my attention.
Lyle quickly ahead. Lyle bounce pass. Strauss with it underneath the Freisteller. He is fouled. Howell, the player, is begging for a jump ball. Foul called. That's going to put Freisteller to the line. These are huge. Eckerly picks up the third foul. These are huge points.
Freisteller's 2 for 4 in the fourth quarter at the line.
Freisteller puts it in. Huge point for Freisteller to give him 12, leading all Pioneers. 2-point game. This is a huge free throw. Freisteller up. Freisteller nothing but net. 3-point game with 10.9 seconds left to go. Howell brings it ahead. Howell, Sampa goes down and pulled away. As good job by Strauss to pick him up. There's a three-pointer, wouldn't go, and Pioneer wins the game. As Dell took a three-pointer, couldn't get it in. It is 47-44. What a battle between two really good teams, really good presences in the post, and that was a heck of a basketball game for a Tuesday evening or any type of evening there. Any final thoughts on that one, Coach?
Oh, yeah, I got a couple quick notes here. It was definitely a classic example of a game won and lost in the paint.
Yeah, absolutely.
4 quarters, 47-44, below both teams' averages. So both teams played good defense. I thought Freisteller played a great second half.
Absolutely.
I think that's the most aggressive I've seen him play in the games I've covered. He was running the floor well. He rolled to the bucket like a big man with his hands up for a target.
Indeed.
He put some second and third efforts down in here in the paint for rebounds.
Indeed.
I thought a couple players for Howell played very well. Number 11, Hicks, contributed at both ends. Dell played well for his size in the paint against size. Hampton, I think, led the team in scoring with 16.
Indeed.
And he got it close with a 3 with 18.9 seconds to go.
That's a heck of a game, and we are very, very lucky to have done that. This is our last basketball game for the year. We have 2 more hockey games, but we won't have another basketball game until the end, until after the new year. So we want to thank you, Coach. Thank you so much for your time and being here and all of your brilliance. We appreciate that. Thank you to Andy for doing stats. We're very grateful. Cooper and Kenny up on the camera. My name is Mark Wiseman. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week, folks. We have 2 hockey games coming up, but if you don't listen to those, folks, have a fantastic holiday season. We'll see you after the new year. Thank you, and good night.